Eliza Haywood's work, in my opinion, is a great example of the Enlightenment Age writer, mainly because she was a woman writing about sexuality, and that wasn't really written about before this time. The Enlightenment Age was a period known for celebrating new ideas, and in her work, Phantomima, it shows a good example of women exploring sexuality and how they can use their sexuality to their advantage to gain power and leverage with the other sex. Whether it be them trying to seduce someone or them trying to get like a courtship or something along those lines, in my opinion. Um, some people thought rape was a large aspect of the story, but I didn't think it that way because at one part in the story, Phantomima, I believe it's after her first encounter with I can't pronounce his name, but Beauplaisir, and I believe it like she was super excited that he actually talked to her and talked to her like she was like someone he wanted to interact with because before he was kind of reserved, she said. So I don't think it was really rape. I just think Phantomima just had this need for this man and she just used her body to get her man, but I'll explain a little bit more later on. Where was I? In my opinion, Phantomima decides to learn how to act like a prostitute in order to seduce a man named Beauplaisir. Because she uses, she just, watches prostitutes and is like, okay, that's how they, make men become interested in them. They just kind of, like, flirt and stuff. So she learned how to act like that to disguise herself. This action could be considered Phantomina gaining hubris or confidence in herself, because she does, in my opinion, start to like come more into this prostitute aspect, even though she's only sleeping with this one guy. Her hubris kind of backfires later. At first, she isn't confident, but she uses her sexuality as a tool to exert power over the man that she's interested in and to gain more confidence in herself. Because after the guy gets tired of Phantomina, I don't know. After he gets tired of her, she makes a new persona as, I think, a maid, and then she has a ton of sex with him as the maid, and then he gets tired of the maid, and then she becomes a lady, or like pretends to become a lady, and she seduces him as the lady, and she keeps manipulating him, even though he doesn't really know it, even though she probably does look similar in every different persona and costume. Eventually her actions begin to work against her, and her plan begins to backfire because, in my opinion, she's an okay like representation of like female sexuality, but she takes it to another level where she's like her way of getting Beauplaisir isn't great because she just keeps sleeping with this guy over and over again, but she never thinks like, oh, I'll get pregnant. So that's why I kind of thought like she's not a great role model, but she's a good representation of enlightenment because she's a woman who is like into this man and she thinks, oh, hey, I'm just gonna dress up as a prostitute. That's what's gonna work. I'm gonna use my sex against him when before it could have been him against me, which is what I think this story talks about a lot. Haywood's work regarding female desire is so important to the Enlightenment Age because prior to this time, female sexuality was not explored in society in general. It was kind of shunned that like, oh, women, you're just like you're basically like you're breed fodder. You're used to make me children. I don't care if you're enjoying this or not. And I believe Phantomima is enjoying having this guy after her, even though he keeps getting tired of her different personas, and she starts to think like, why don't you still like me? But that's where it kind of gets iffy, but I do think this is a very important piece because it does talk about female sexuality, and it does talk about how, hey, men aren't the only ones who get like sexual pleasure, women can have it too, and like we can use it against people just like how men can use it against people in a good way or a bad way. Most likely a bad way, but if it wasn't for this, I feel like this piece, I feel like female sexuality at the time may have not been explored, because right after this time, I'm not 100% sure, but I think there was again a lull in the Enlightenment where it was kind of like, okay, we're going back to religious. But it was changed forever though after this. But it was a little bit more conservative again. But I feel like that's every couple of years we get a surge of sexuality and whatnot. Before this time, Heywood would have been shunned because of religious constraints and social norms. Because before this time, it was Puritan times, and they were very conservative, and the church had power over all of them. So, in my opinion, Eliza Haywood's work is very important to the Enlightenment age because it explains sexuality for at least women, and it shows that anybody can use their body to get what they want, even if in the end, maybe don't do it a lot, but you can still use it for your own gain, even if it's not morally okay. And then that's kind of my opinion. Okay, bye.